So I've been in the market for another 45 caliber 1911, and after doing some research, I came across a company called Tisas and finally picked up their Tisas B45R. And so I've shot about 500 rounds through it or so, and so now I want to give my initial impressions. So for a little bit of backstory, I picked up a Colt M45A1 about a year-ish ago or so, and I've really enjoyed shooting that pistol, and it already is a 45 caliber 1911. But for some reason, I've always seen that as a little more of a collector's piece to me. I know it's a very durable and proven pistol, but I guess just maybe the rarity and the history of that particular gun, I've never really wanted to put so many miles on it. And so I wanted to find a 1911 that I could use and abuse. And so after doing research, I know all the other big names out there, I eventually came across Tisas, which doesn't seem to have any kind of negative reviews for the pistol, the type of pistol it is in its price range, which is about $500–$600. To be honest, usually when I hear about 1911s in like the $500–$600 price range, which is what this pistol is, I usually am a little skeptical. As opposed to something like Glocks or some other kind of polymer pistols, which it's like the typical price. For 1911s, it seems like it's you get what you pay for. So I was a little skeptical. And although I've only shot about 500 rounds through it, so far I've been very happy with the quality of it and been very impressed with how it's held up. And so this video is going to be a review, but definitely at a higher level, because I don't think I have enough time behind the pistol to give you guys like a really informed, detailed opinion. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let's start off with some of the basic features of the pistol, then I'll break it down by different sections on the gun. So this pistol is actually manufactured in Turkey by a company, as I've mentioned the name already, called Tisas, and it's imported into the United States market by SDS Imports. So usually you will see both names listed in any kind of product description. This one here is a full-size government profile pistol, which means it has a 5-inch barrel, but they also sell compact versions as well, and your more classic 1911 A1s from the Second World War. So with some of those basic facts out of the way, let's first start with the overall frame of the gun, and then I'll break down to some of the other sections of the pistol. As I mentioned earlier, the frame comes in a black Cerakote, and in my opinion, it looks really sleek, and it's a very attractive look. One thing I do appreciate is that it's also pretty grippy. And you'll see here that the pistol does have front and rear slide serrations, but I don't actually need to use them in order to rack the slide. The VZ grips also help me grip the pistol better, and it also gives it a very classy look, which is what I was going for. And although these grips do help really well, I still do wish that the front strap on this handgun were serrated, and I wish that the back strap just had a little more knurling and was more aggressive. But to be honest, I don't really have any issues gripping the pistol as it is, and I also don't really expect it to have it, because it's a $500 pistol. The sights are 3-dot white Novak style sights, which are pretty similar to what I have on my Glock 17, so honestly there was hardly any transition needed when I moved to this pistol. One thing to note is that the rear sight set screw did come loose when I first shot this, but after I started tightening it down, it never came loose again after several range sessions. As mentioned before, it has a 5-inch barrel, meaning it's a full-size pistol, and I've always just gravitated towards larger pistols. I found them more rewarding and just easier to shoot because I do have larger hands. And the fact that it has a longer barrel length and making that more accurate than like a compact or like a commander size 1911 wasn't really a factor in my decision. This gun doesn't have a full-length guide rod or any kind of dual recoil spring, but in my opinion these aren't features I really need. I think I just need to practice more with the gun. The barrel isn't flush with the barrel bushing, but to me this is just more of an aesthetic thing, and I don't mind it at all. I think it still looks incredibly clean, and I really like the look of this pistol, as you can probably tell by how I've talked about this so far in the video. Other than the light and the grips, the only thing I added was a Magwell, and this definitely helps me more with reloading. However, one thing to note is that if you do add this type of Magwell, which is installed underneath the grips, you won't be able to use the magazine that comes with the Tisas when you buy it, because there's just not enough clearance between the Magwell and the magazine's base plate to lock into the pistol. Fortunately, I've had some Wilson Combat magazines lying around anyway, and they function just fine. You can see here I have both the 10 rounders and also the 8 rounders, and they've been really just, very reliable. There's nothing too much to add to it, and I mean that in a good way because it performs its job every time, and I've never had any feeding issues with this pistol. I have heard some people do have feeding issues within the first couple hundred rounds, but fortunately for me, that wasn't the case. Any of my gripes for this particular 1911 really stem from my lack of training behind it. So I'm still learning how to reload better with a different holster. This is a Safariland. I think it's the 6360, but I'll correct that. But that's not being too bad. The biggest thing really is just the recoil anticipation, like I mentioned. Even though I've shot 1,000 rounds to my Colt M45A1, I think, it's still taking me some getting used to. And you'll see here, I do flinch when shooting this 1911 in 45. I've noticed that my recoil anticipation usually goes away just, more as I progress in my range days, but it's still something that I can tell is there. And beyond just the flinching, there's also my grip. I don't think I'm gripping it properly, and here's what it looks like. As I start to shoot this pistol faster, my left thumb starts to fall off the slide, so maybe I'm not gripping it properly, even though my shots still stay in the A zone. But another thing too is that I find that the pistol is pinching the web of my hand, and I'm just assuming this is me and not any kind of poor craftsmanship from the 1911. And mind you, I'm not talking about slide bite. I don't get any of that. What's happening is that when I just start shooting more, where my hand contacts the grip safety, it really starts to rub and get raw and sometimes bleed if I shoot 100, maybe 200 rounds. And so I'm just going to assume that's how I'm gripping the pistol. So if you have any tips or you can tell what I'm doing wrong, I would really love to hear it, because I think right now that's the biggest thing holding me back from shooting, or from spending more time shooting at every range session. So these notes are really the closest I can get to dislikes or any kind of gripes that I have. And again, just keep in mind, the common thread between all of these is that I'm just not as familiar with the pistol as I'd like. It's only been about 500 rounds. So in terms of future plans for this pistol, I think it would actually be a pretty fun rotation in my concealed carry. Fully understanding the drawbacks of the 1911 compared to other modern pistols today, with all of that kind of out of the way and understood, I think that will be a lot of fun. But I haven't started to do that yet because I still need more trigger time with this pistol. I'm overall, despite what I said before, I'm comfortable shooting this gun, but I am confident with my Glock 17. And I really want to be confident with this 1911 before I actually start investing in a holster, start carrying it, and all that kind of good stuff. So time will tell, practice will tell, but for now I'll just kind of keep practicing at the range with it, and I'm not actually going to conceal it just yet. And so that does it for this video. Just wanted to share this new pistol. It's something I've had my eye on for a while, but I finally ended up getting it, and I've been pretty happy with this Tisas. And so I'll keep shooting it, I'll keep featuring it in some videos, and and so I'll just keep shooting it. Nothing else to really say about that one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know if you have any comments or critiques on my grip especially. I do want to get that figured out, but until then, I will see you guys in the next video.